The NFL has had hundreds of thousands of 50-50 coin flip calls, roster and staff decisions, and other unexpected outcomes that leave us all wondering, what if the alternative happened? From the Seahawks' decision to throw the ball in the Super Bowl, to 31 teams passing on Lamar Jackson on draft day, to the Dez Bryant catastrophe, all you can do sometimes is sit and wonder what could have been, or argue about alternative outcomes in Instagram comment sections. You could come up with a million of these moments, but we're going to break down the top 10 most realistic, league-altering what-if scenarios in NFL history that could have actually gone in a different direction, completely altering the future of the league for decades to come. Now, keep in mind, this list won't have anything to do with play calls, missed kicks, and all that, because it's a lot easier said than done to call plays and throw touchdowns in the NFL. So, Seahawks fans, you get a break today. And with that, in order of the most league-altering what-ifs, let's get right into number 10. At number 10, what if Carson Wentz slid down? In the 2016-2017 season, Carson Wentz was in the midst of an MVP campaign in just his second year in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles, who were sitting pretty at 10-2 behind Wentz's 33 touchdown passes. But a career headed for superstar trajectory took a turn for the worst with one single play.
Wentz to his right. Flag is down, and Wentz in for the touchdown.
Wentz tore his ACL on this play, ultimately leaving him on the sideline for the remainder of the season. Somehow, this ended up being the best-case scenario for the Philadelphia Eagles, who of course went on a historic Super Bowl run behind playoff sensation Nick Foles, ultimately upsetting Tom Brady and the Patriots. Unquestionably, Wentz was the more talented quarterback, but Foles quite literally played perfect in the Super Bowl, which was a necessary effort in a 41-33 win. Could Wentz have matched this production? Well, it's possible, but a second-year quarterback in the Super Bowl against Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, it's very likely that another ring would have been added to that New England collection. Of course, Wentz never returned to that 2017 form, and the Eagles seem to be locked in for the future with Jalen Hurts. But all in all, Wentz has made a solid career for himself as a journeyman, currently sitting behind Pat Mahomes and KC. But sometimes you just gotta wonder, what could have Carson Wentz been? At number 9, what if Josh Gordon never got suspended? Former Browns wide receiver Josh Gordon burst onto the scene in 2013 as a 2012 second-round draft pick. This included an unreal 4-game stretch of 774 yards, the highest yardage in a 4-game total in NFL history.
Yards. This has never happened back-to-back in the history of pro football, and he takes it 95!
But Gordon's problem was an inability to stay on the field. He was hit with 6 suspensions over 9 years, leading to an inevitable fall in production. This scenario is definitely controversial because you can actually look at both Gordon and the NFL. Okay, so the truth of the matter is that Gordon did break some of the NFL's clearly stated rules. However, these specific drug policies have since loosened since Gordon exited the league. So what if the NFL had changed recreational marijuana policies sooner, allowing Gordon more field time while he was still in his prime? Realistically, you could have been looking at another Julio Jones, Calvin Johnson type of receiver who was a generational talent. Not to mention, he definitely could have been a big help to Baker Mayfield during his short stint in Cleveland. Nonetheless, Gordon carved out a career that many players would have loved to have, playing over a decade between the NFL and the XFL and UFL. At number 8, what if Roby Coleman was flagged for pass interference? Look, everyone knows how hard it is to be a referee, but this should have been PI every single day of the week. Even Roby Coleman admitted it. Of course, if the flag was thrown, the Saints were in the driver's seat to chew off some more clock and score a touchdown or kick a field goal to take the lead to eventually win the 2019 NFC Championship. But this is bigger than that game. The domino effect that follows this scenario has an even greater impact on the NFL's history books. The Rams went on to lay an egg in the Super Bowl, losing to Tom Brady and the Patriots 13-3 in one of the most unmemorable games in Super Bowl history. You'd have to think that one of the most high-power offenses of the 2010s would have put up at least 13 points, right? Especially considering that the Saints put up at least 13 points in 16 out of 18 games that season. So, say Drew Brees and Sean Payton led the Saints to a Super Bowl win over the Patriots, their second during their time together in New Orleans. Would Brees be considered a better all-time quarterback than, say, an Aaron Rodgers? Not to mention, tensions were already rising in New England at the time between TB12, Belichick, and the front office. Would it be possible that the Pats would have parted ways with Brady a year sooner? This probably also means that he wouldn't have gone to the Buccaneers, who were still under a rookie deal with Jameis Winston. Maybe Brady would have been a Raider, battling with Patrick Mahomes in the same division instead of in Super Bowl 55. At number 7, what if Shawn Taylor's life wasn't cut short? This scenario is pretty straightforward. Shawn Taylor was on a Hall of Fame trajectory with the Redskins, known for delivering bone-crushing hits for the Washington defense. Not to mention, he provided energy and life for a Washington franchise that otherwise had its struggles all throughout the 2000s. This promising career was cut short on November 26, 2007, when Taylor was shot during a home invasion, severing an artery in his leg. He passed away in the hospital the next day at just 24 years old. Taylor's potential to be an all-time great is still often discussed today, and you can almost guarantee to see this clip of him before the Pro Bowl every year.
On the run, and he's going to come up short. Shawn Taylor.
However, Shawn's younger brother, Gabe, has a chance to live out that potential vicariously. Gabe Taylor is heading into his senior year at Rice, playing the same exact position as his brother. With a strong season, we could absolutely see another Taylor back in the NFL at safety within the next year. At number 6, what if Bo Jackson gave football another chance? Now, I know what you're thinking. What do you mean gave football another chance? Wasn't he just injury prone? Well, yes, he was. In fact, it was a nasty hip injury that ended his NFL career at just 28 years old. But that doesn't change the fact that Jackson loved baseball a lot more. Many people have no clue that Jackson was picked first overall by the Bucs in 1986 and declined their contract offer because of management disputes. And then he went on to play for the Kansas City Royals in the MLB. The very next year, in 1987, Jackson entered the NFL draft yet again, being selected by the Raiders in the 7th round. He was actually asleep when they took him. Jackson agreed to a deal with the Raiders that actually allowed him to start his NFL season late, as soon as the MLB season was finished. In limited action over a few years, Jackson showed potential to be a Hall of Fame talent at running back, highlighted by a 220-yard, 3-touchdown Monday night game in his rookie year. Now, back to the injury. Jackson dislocated his hip in the playoffs of 1991 and never touched an NFL field again. But of course, he probably could have. It's just pretty evident that he didn't want to risk losing his MLB career too. And of course, the millions that came with that. So in the end, I guess you can't really blame him. But what if Bo couldn't hit bombs and stayed healthy? Well, you'd probably look at him as another Barry Sanders, Walter Payton type of legend. And this is pretty realistic because Jackson averaged 5.5 yards per carry in his short career, half a yard more than Barry, and a whole yard more than Payton. The talent was absolutely there, but we'll never know just how good he could have been. That is, unless you go play with him in Madden Ultimate Team. We're out of time for this video, but stay tuned for part 2 where we reveal the top 5 what-ifs in NFL history. If you like this video, check out Football Today for more pigskin content and throw a comment down below for any videos that you want to see in the future. Thanks for checking this one out, and we'll see you in the next one.